What I don't like, my philosophy and I'm never going to be a GM, I'm too stupid, but I do think it's a basic one. You draft a left tackle to be a left tackle. You draft a center to be a center. Now, there are others who are young who eventually get converted, but to me, Bates, if you remember the Bills situation, the Bills cut their center. Bates wasn't their solution internally to take over for their center, but somehow the Bears deemed him to be, we'll give you a fifth for him. It didn't make any sense to me. Now you gave up a second-round pick to draft a right tackle to be your left tackle. So while I'm thrilled with what happened last night, I'm still concerned over left tackle. So fill everyone in, Waddle, about what happened over the weekend with Trey Hendrickson.
Well, the Bengals they're open to trading him now because they can't find common ground in terms of contract extension. So there are teams that are interested. The Bears have not been mentioned. I believe Diana Rossini was the one that I was reading her Twitter post, I think, that mentioned it. I think Tom Pelissero had some information as well. Look, I'm not sitting here and telling you that I would mortgage my future, which is the hot phrase for it. But I'll say what I've said 1,000 times before. Nobody expected Washington to be in the NFC title game, did they? Nobody expected the Vikings to win 14 games last year. Your job is to make your team better. Will having to give up some draft currency hurt you to get Trey Hendrickson? I don't know. How much you giving up? What are you willing to give up for a guy that has led the league in sacks last year? You sacked 35 quarterbacks the last 2 years.
At one point, I was willing to give up a 1. I'm a little worried now without any training camp that you're playing from behind all year. And even though that was like, if you had him in your building, if he was in shape, we're going to be, he didn't have a camp. He's off to a slow start. He's getting used to the new system.
That's a very good point.
And so he has played for Dennis Allen, as we know. So if anyone knows him or would want him or not want him, it would be Dennis Allen because he's got the inside look. But I would certainly give up a 2. And I'm with Jimmy, and I've been with you. You've just really pushed on this, where even though when people told you no, it's not happening, you're like, well, why not? Call and find out. And I'm with Jimmy on the stuff about, well, you're not ready to win yet. Well, the only way you get ready to win is by accumulating better players.
Sure.
And you've got to just weigh, can I get a player like Hendrickson for a second-round pick right now? And probably not. I don't know if you could get a Trey Hendrickson even at his age in the first round these days.
I would suggest making a call. See what it is. See what the asking price is and decide if you're willing to meet that asking price. If it's ridiculous, I'm all for passing. But if it's not ridiculous, and it's hard to tell. It's subjective. What's ridiculous? I think I read something as well as they're looking for a young defensive player and a high pick. Did I read that right?
Yeah, a playmaker or something like that, or a...
Just that doesn't have to be an edge rusher per se or a pass rusher.
So, I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. I'm not suggesting that the people reporting this don't have good information, but you just never know. But if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm calling them. And listen, he may think that they've done enough on that side of the football. Sitting in this chair without having any of that responsibility, I don't. I'd rather see them go out there and add to what they've done already. So give them a call. See what it will take.
The one thing that I'm not eased up by yesterday's results is the left tackle. I am not, just because I had a good fun night last night and nothing bad happened, doesn't mean then I'm not still worried about left tackle.
Well, and for good reason.
And I want to know how they're going to get one.
Joey Bosa wasn't on the field last night across from Braxton Jones. Like, Jonathan Grenard will be on the field Monday night in a couple of weeks across from him.
To me, that hasn't been solved in any way, shape, or form. So I want to know, how are you going to get that left tackle? I would love Trey Hendrickson, but if you're giving up your first-round pick, where are you finding your left tackle next year? But Braxton Jones is a free agent, Ozzie Trapillo is still a right tackle, and Karan Amagaji is still a development piece. So where are you getting him?
I don't know.
So you're going to have ammo to get one.
Yeah, you can always trade future picks if there's somebody out there. I can only live in today. I may be gone tomorrow. So,
don't say that.
I'm just saying, And by the way, if you can find me somebody that plays left tackle at the same level that Trey Hendrickson plays pass rusher,
Oh, yeah.
for a comparable
But you can't.
trade, well, that's the point. So it's going to be really hard to find that guy. And if the Bears do anything this year, you may be picking 20. You may be picking outside the top 10. And if you're picking outside the top 10, are you guaranteed to get a left tackle? I don't know this year. You know, had Banks still been on the board at 10,
They may have taken him.
maybe they would have taken him. I don't know. They drafted Colston Loveland because Banks was off the board.
Is it a little odd that they used a top 75 pick, maybe even a top 50 pick? I can't remember what it ended up being.
On Trapillo as a right tackle?
They used a very high pick on a guy who's now just like a swing tackle?
Well,
It's
Like, I still think you expect to find, in that range, you should expect to find starter to impact quality players. And
remember this, Charlie. This is where my issue has been with this organization in the front office. Who was their solution at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of camp last year at center? Center had been problematic for years. It was a problem with Justin, and now you had a rookie quarterback they had to solidify the center position for. Do you remember who their solution was?
it's Coleman Shelton, right?
No. He was like competing, but when we entered camp, there was another player who was projected to be their starting center.
It was Ryan Bates.
It was Ryan Bates. Do you know how many games Ryan Bates started at center in the NFL?
none.
Right.
They give like a 4th round pick to him, too. That's not nothing.
Fifth.
Yeah,
But
still.
So they projected a player who had never been a center to play center. They now projected a right tackle who wasn't good enough to play left tackle at BC to be your starting left tackle or compete for left tackle this year. And we'll see if Trapillo can still do it. What I don't like, my philosophy of and I'm never going to be a GM, I'm too stupid, but I do think it's a basic one. You draft a left tackle to be a left tackle. You draft a center to be a center. Now, there are others who are young who eventually get converted, but to me, Bates, if you remember the Bills situation, the Bills cut their center. Bates wasn't their solution internally to take over for their center. But somehow the Bears deemed him to be, we'll give you a 5th for him. It didn't make any sense to me. Now you gave up a 2nd-round pick to draft a right tackle to be your left tackle. So while I'm thrilled with what happened last night, I'm still concerned over left tackle.
And again, I don't think that those questions have been answered. But I can't worry about holding a 1st-round pick in 2026 to solve left tackle if, in fact, I can add a player the caliber of Trey Hendrickson to my defense.
Yeah.
And I think he makes me better. But I think the point you make, it's really, he's 31 years old, I think he is. He's had no training camp. And he's getting to your team late, regardless of where he goes.
Because
So-
if you get him, you need him now.
Right.
He's here for the now.
Right, because you're basically going to give him a 2-year contract extension,
Right.
something in that neighborhood.
I need 17 and a half more sacks from him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving something up to get another 8-sack season like you've gotten from some of these other guys. And is he ready to give you a 15-sack season? That's my only pause.
Somebody's going to give the Bengals a 1st-round pick for him.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
I still think they're going to. He wants to be there. They want him there, but yet they can't find common ground.
Well, I mean, if in fact if the Browns won't write him a check, I do believe somebody will give up a late 1st-round pick.
The last time a defensive player over the age of 30 was traded for a 1st-round pick, I believe, was in 1994.
Wow,
So
that long ago.
I think teams are really hesitant
Yes.
to trade 1st-round picks for guys in their 30s.
No doubt. But guys in the 30s, and Jeff Meller did this exercise for us about 6-7 months ago, pass rushers have aged quite well. The top pass rushers have aged quite well at the age of 30 or over 30.
Those are all the best guys of all time, though. Like, Trey Hendrickson isn't an all-time pass rusher.
Trey
You're gonna
Hendrickson
end up-
has been as good as anybody in the league, top 3 pass rusher over the last 5 years.
over the last 5 years, but he's compared. Like, is Trey Hendrickson a Hall of Fame bound?
His career's not over yet. He's 31 years old.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, you find yourself in a spot where you're paying him elite, like,
I don't
top
know what
3
I gotta-
pass
what
rusher
am I
money,
paying? I don't
and then
know
in
what I
2
gotta
years
pay him.
he's just a good to very good player. All of a sudden, you're getting diminishing value.
He's
on
not
what you're
going to
paying
get paid the way that Myles Garrett was getting paid, and he's not going to get paid the way that Micah Parsons was getting paid.
I think he wants to, at least in the span of 2 years, if it's a 2 or 3 year deal.
Well, you don't make that trade with the Cincinnati Bengals without having an agreement
Of course.
with him. So, Yeah, I don't think the Bears or anybody else is willing to give him a contract that is comparable to what Myles Garrett has.